Hi everyone and welcome to And So On. My name is Lisa and today it is all about the knitting FOs. Okay, so it's been so long since I've shown you my knitting that there's just no way I can put it all into one video. So I decided that I'm going to just divide it up, and today I'm going to show you most of my FOs. I can't even show them all to you, but I can show you most of them. And then next week I'm going to do a whip parade, and I'm going to do a frog it or finish it kind of thing, because somehow I've ended up with a ton of whips, which is not my usual, and it doesn't feel all that great. So I need to get some of those things off the needles one way or another. So I am wearing my Agnes jumper, and this is slightly cropped. It comes like if I'm wearing something high-waisted, it's totally fine. Were I to go back, I might make it a little longer. I have a little more of this yarn, and I actually might take up or undo the bind off and give myself just a little more in the wrists, because it's, you know, kind of that bracelet length, which isn't generally my thing. Although I have to say that this is more of a mid-season rather than a warm winter sweater. And because it's in the Ulysse, which is this very, very soft, soft merino, French merino from Durand Natura, I can actually wear this against my skin and kind of have it as a mid-season sweater. So maybe it's okay with the kind of bracelet length sleeves. I do love the color work on this. It's so pretty. You know, color work takes me some time, but boy, is it ever worth it in the end. It's just so lovely. And the Ulysse yarn is amazing for it. I actually have one of the works in progress that I have to show you is also a colorwork sweater in this yarn. So you'll see that next week. Okay, where to start? Okay, I'll start with something little just to get it out of the way. This is a teeny tiny little flax sweater that I made for a friend's 1-year-old. He just turned 1. And you can see that if the flax is a free pattern, as most of you know, I did not continue the purl bumps down the sleeve, which I think kind of gives it almost like a, I don't know, like a moto jacket or something like that. I don't know. I love the little thing. This was a set of superwash yarn from Knit Crate from last year. It was a 4 skein mini, like 50-gram mini skein sets. I made Bruno as well. His name is Bruno, the baby. I made Bruno a hat as well, and this fits him perfectly, like kind of just exactly. So I took it back because I want to add more to the sleeves and the hem, because I at least wanted to fit him the whole winter, you know. But they love it. They really love it. They really appreciate it. And yeah, it was a quick knit and totally worth doing. Okay, now I'll go back to the beginning. So this here is the olden top. Wait, am I holding it the right way? Yes. This is the olden top by Vitra Knits. Vitra? I don't know, Danish. I'll put some pictures of me wearing it. This was done in Sandnesgarn Lina, held double. And I actually need to block this and maybe shrink it up just a teeny bit. It's a tad big. If you see in the pictures, it does look nice. It was a pretty quick knit. You hold it double, very straightforward, feels really nice. The funny thing is when I bought this yarn, I went on and got it from Las Tijeras Mágicas, the Magic Scissors, which is a great shop that I buy from quite a lot here. And they had, I ordered 4 skeins, and they said, we have 4 skeins, but they're 2 different dye lots, 2 of each. But I thought, well, I'm holding it double, so I may as well. But boy, oh boy, could you ever tell the difference in the dye lots. That's also going to come up next week. Sad knitter story. So it was worth doing because like keeping the 2 dye lots, because of the way, you know, if you're holding it double, it doesn't really matter, you know. Very easy to do. I've worn it a fair amount. I kind of did it at the end of the summer, and I think like next season, I'll probably wear it more. I find I'm wearing a lot of the stuff, you know, from the beginning of, ooh, I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm not. I have a perpetual cold the last month. It's driving me crazy. Or maybe it's allergies. I don't know. I still don't know. So yeah, this definitely a good pattern. I'm not sure the size inclusivity on this pattern. You'd have to check, but it's just a basic tank top. It's not, you know, anything mind-blowing. Okay, next I'm gonna show you the Glee shawl from Espace Tricot. And this is a good size shawl from Espace Tricot. It's a free pattern and it uses 3 single skeins of DK yarn. So for me, I have a lot of not small quantities, but I have a lot of like 2 skeins, mostly from Knit Crate, because you know I'm a Knit Crate ambassador. They send me every month their yarns, and it's generally 2 skeins of generally it's either DK, worsted, or sport. Sometimes it varies, but mostly. So I had a fair amount of DK yarn, and so I was able to use 3 different colors to create this yarn. And I will put below the names of the yarns or on the screen. I love this pattern. I've already started another one. Because it's DK and on fairly large needles, it goes super fast. I don't generally do tassels, but I thought, why not? Could use some tassels. I'll put in some pictures. Really squishy. When this first came out, and I know that some people will think this is sacrilege, but I thought this could like rival the half and half wrap because it's big and it's cozy but it's DK, so it's super fast. You know, probably not going to rival the half and half wrap, but it kind of had that feeling to me of something just, you could pick 2 colors or 3 colors and, you know, really give yourself something interesting. And because it's DK, it was fast. So I've already started one of these for Lily, which I've already lost steam on as well. Yeah, I'm totally loving that pattern. Next, let's do this one. This is the Strata Vest from Jacqueline Cieslak. It could use a steam, I'm not gonna lie. And I made this in Bio Balance by BC Garn, which is a wool cotton blend. Really beautiful yarn. I don't know if you can see the color. So when I first ordered it, you know what, let me look up the name of the color because I don't remember the name of the color, but so the name of the color is not written down. The name of the color made it sound like a gray with a little bit of purple. And then when it showed up in the light, it looked like a bright violet. And I was like, oh no, like I'm not really a lilac-y kind of girl. But now that I have it all, you know, knitted up, I really like the color a lot. Again, this is one that gets stolen by both of my daughters. This is available. This is not out yet, and I don't know when it's out. I'll see if I can find out before I post this when it is out. But it has either a crop length or a full length. I did right in the middle. I put on my Ravelry page where I started the ribbing. I think it was at like 17 centimeters of the body, which was in between the crop length and the long length. So this just hits me right at my waist, which is what I like. The mix of wool and cotton is very yummy. This took me just over 2 skeins, which is great, like to get a really lovely, you know, wearable piece for that much. The Bio Balance is very reasonably priced. So this was a great economical piece that you can wear a ton, and I predict it'll be a very popular one. Socks. I have 2 pairs of socks. One is a set to give away and one is a set for myself. I'm going to show you the ones for myself, and spoiler, I have worn them, so they probably have dog hair on them. These are scrappy socks, and you know, I think for me, my sock journey continues, and every time I make another pair of socks, I go, these are the best fitting socks, because I just improve a little bit every time, which I think is what you want to do, right? So I've improved a little bit, and these fit me very, very well. And I've measured, you know, the length of the foot, the length of the cuff, or the length of the leg, so that I can try and replicate it. And I think my sweet spot is 60 stitches on 2.0 needles. I could occasionally go up to 64. I did put a little bit of ribbing across the front of the ankle to kind of pull it in a little bit. These are fully scrappy, so this is not color changing yarn. Let me see if I can show you. You know, I went through and I changed every once in a while. I weighed the yarn to make sure that I would be able to get through to the end so that they are, you know, they match. And the fun thing that I did that I wanted to show you guys, is there one that's better than the other? Maybe this one, is I did a 3 needle bind off for the toe. So the toe looks like this. So can you see that it's visible? I purposely used a contrasting color, obviously, so you could see it. I love this little bind off. I suppose if you're someone who, you know, wears your socks and shoes a lot, and it might bother you to feel that at the end of your foot, but I don't. I wear my socks pretty much just around the house, maybe occasionally in my boots, but I certainly don't wear them in like sneakers or anything like that, so it doesn't bother me. And I love that little contrast, that little braided look at the top. Yeah, so I'm gonna bring in or bring back and or 3 needle bind off. And then I have a friend who's, sorry. The building across the way has got construction, and so it's just constant. I think we've probably just, no, I was gonna say we've just finished siesta, but no, it's still siesta, so I don't know what they're doing. These are for a friend of mine, and I knit these in a sock tube. So I will put, let me show them to you first, and then I'll show you the sock tube. Okay. So this yarn here is Lana Grossa About Berlin Yak. I really like this yarn. This is color changing yarn. And then at the bottom is Meilenweit Cashmere that I had left over. This is some leftover Sweet Georgia from when I first started knitting. I've had this yarn for probably 4 or 5 years. And I think this is more Meilenweit. No, it's more Yak at the top. And so I made 2 of them, as one is usually doing. They are fraternal twins, not identical. My friend is not going to care about that. I'm going to put them in the mail and send them off to her in Toronto to hopefully brighten her day. But I knit these in a tube, and I'm now kind of addicted to knitting in a tube. Maybe I'll just show you one little work in progress so you can see. Well, yeah, let me get it. 1 second. Okay, so I'm kind of addicted now to knitting socks in tubes, and the reason why is I realized that casting on the second sock is what's the problem, and like those first really finicky, you know, not fidgety, what's the word I'm looking for? Finicky, awkward first rows is what keeps me from knitting more socks. So here's what I did. This is Mondim, Retrosaria Primar, Rosa Primar Mondim. So I cast this on with ribbing, and then I did a 5x1 ribbing, and then, oh, what's this? I thought, okay, I want to make more socks. So I literally just put a piece of waste yarn and then just kept knitting with new sock yarn. And so these are all different scraps as well for a friend. I got here, I realized this is all I need for the one sock, and now I've just kept knitting, and this is going to be the second sock. And so because I'm not having to cast on, bind off, do the heel, do the toe, blah, 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 I can get the full body of the sock done. And at some point, I'll probably cut off this first one and do the heel and toe and keep going. But it's very motivating to just keep knitting in a circle. I can just keep doing it here and there. I don't have to stop to do other things. So so what I'm gonna do is cut this in half right here and add the sock and the toe. The heel will go basically right there. And then this is the foot. She's a little bit tinier than I am, the person I'm making them for. Anyway, I'll let you know how that works. I'll do a video when I cut this apart and add the heels and the toes. I'm using another Lana Grossa About Berlin tweed, which is very cute. I'll show this to you again next week. So you'll see it. Another FO that I do not have with me, and I will show it to you again when I do, is the Grid Lines cowl. And I also tested this. I've been testing a lot lately. the Grid Lines Cowl by Susanna Kartinen. And she made this really beautiful cowl. I'll put in pictures of it. And I love it because it has an inner lining and then the outer with like the grid lines on it. And why I love that is because the inner lining hugs against your neck. And so it's just stays nice and cozy. And I used a very, very soft yarn. I used the Julia's Lanfino, which is just so soft and glorious. And I had actually taken that from a cardigan that I frogged last year. I made another sweater from it, and now the cowl that I know I'm going to use a ton. And I think that my daughter has it. I think that's why I can't find it right now. So I'll show it to you next time so you can see it in person, but highly recommend that pattern, and I'm going to link it below. And then my last test knit. I've been testing like crazy, and I just signed up for 2 more. Is the Soft Focus by Samantha Guerin. And I knit this in Manchalope yarn. So if you guys remember that, let me show you the right way. If you guys remember, the Manchalope is an unspun yarn from here in Spain, and it's the same, oh my gosh. Hombre. Okay, so if you remember that I was knitting this one of the last times we spoke, and the Manchalope yarn is made from the wool from the sheep that make manchego cheese, whose milk makes manchego cheese. Okay, let me try this again. It's made from the wool from the sheep whose milk makes manchego cheese. There. The company is called Wool Dreamers. I met them at Barcelona Knits. Very nice people. I actually got some of their other yarn as well to use. This is an all over lace shawl, which is not my usual. I don't think I've ever done an all over lace shawl. It weighs nothing. It is so light. I basically got this out of one skein. It comes in plates because it's unspun. One plate held double, and the Manchalope plates are wound double, so you don't have to bring them together from 2 different plates. Yeah, so I basically got it out of one and a tiny little bit, so I've got a whole one left. It's very light and very toasty. I often wear it with a Grid Lines cowl underneath as well to like add extra. It is really, really cute and so soft. It is not cashmere soft, but it is certainly nice and cozy, not picky. Yeah, really, really like it a lot. So again, this is the Soft Focus by Samantha Guerin. I'll put some pictures of me wearing it. And yeah, that's my husband sneezing, I swear. It's silent as the grave all afternoon, and then the minute I start to record, it's loud, noise. Okay, the last thing I have, I cannot show you because it is a test knit for Andrea Mowry, and I've had it done for well over a month, and it doesn't come out until mid-December. So I can't show that to you, but other than that, I think that's all of my FOs. You can see why I thought, let's just do an FO video, because I'm already, over 20 minutes, and and I just finished the FOs, and I kind of sped through them too, didn't I? Yeah. Okay, so that is all for me. I wanted to thank you guys so much for your support on my last video. You guys were so kind and encouraging to just say, post what makes you feel good, and we're here for you, and we just love watching you. And that just made my heart so, so happy. So thank you for the support. Thank you for the encouragement. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, thanks to you guys. So I hope that wherever you are, the sun is shining and you are creating and making your heart happy. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.